up? Today I'm going to show you how to create this Countess inspired look of Lady Gaga from American Horror Story. So I was really excited and inspired by a webinar that I attended recently by Lady Gaga's makeup artist Sarah Tano. Oh my gosh, her creativity is absolutely amazing. I'm so inspired by her work. But today I'm going to share a few tips and tricks with you using Marc Jacobs Beauty that Sarah shared with me, and now I'm going to share with you. I hope you enjoy. See you guys. So first I'm going to start off with my Marc Jacobs Youthquake Moisturizer. This is my absolutely favorite moisturizer. It exfoliates and softens the skin at the same time. So they use pineapple enzymes, so you're going to eat away any little like dead, dry, flaky skin. And I love applying my skincare with little silicone spatulas. So this one here is actually from Sigma Beauty. I've got a smaller one too that I like to use for like eye masks and eye creams and things too. Sometimes I even use them just to take foundation out of the container as well, just not to cross-contaminate anything, keep any germs and bacteria out. So right now I've gone in with the Marc Jacobs Invisibler Primer, and I'm just putting it on my wrinkles. So you can see I'm tapping it in to my smile lines around my mouth. I've done a little bit on my nose to fill in any pores, and I've got a few fine lines on my forehead. And here I've actually got the brand new Marc Jacobs Lip Oil. So Sarah Tano, she actually suggested using this as a primer. She says she lets it sort of like bake and cook on her lips while she's doing the rest of her face. She says that it also almost has like a plumping effect. So it contains coconut oil, and it's really nice and moisturizing as well. You can use it over top of any lipsticks as a gloss, but it's not going to feel as sticky as a gloss. But I've had it sitting in my makeup cabinet for a little while, so I'm definitely excited to try it out. And here I'm taking the Marc Jacobs Accomplice Concealer. So Sarah actually said some days, especially in ISO, where she is not doing like a full face of makeup, but she's just using the Accomplice stick in areas where she wants it. Like she'll do a little bit like under her eyes, blend it in, and have like a really natural look rather than having a full face of foundation. She actually wears this as a foundation, and you can totally do that. So Sarah was saying that she likes to put it in any areas where she has a bit of redness as well. So I'll probably put a bit more further down my cheeks and even a bit on my chin. But we all know I like full coverage, so after that I'm going to go in with a foundation as well. But I'm just sort of using this as a color corrector. And this is the lightest shade that they have, so it's fair number 10, I believe. But you can see how it kind of has a yellow tinge to it, so it's going to be perfect to tame down any signs of redness and brighten under the eyes too. But honestly, with it blended in, it's matching my skin tone pretty well. My neck is a lot lighter than my face, but I feel like this is really evening out the complexion. It's not too light, not too dark. It's actually perfect, so I could totally wear it as a foundation if I wanted to. And I'm taking a little bit more just putting it on my brush. I'm so sorry. This is probably the oldest concealer brush I have, but it's my absolute ride or die. It's a Wet n Wild one. I've not been able to find a replacement anywhere, but I absolutely love this brush. I did shave my eyebrows off last night. They've just started to grow back like a tiny bit, and I kind of kept the fronts, the front on them as well, but I'm gonna cover the little bit of hairs that I have there because we're gonna do like a bleached brow look today. On my little palette here, you can see that I've got Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation. So I mixed two colors together. So 10 is the lightest shade, 12 is one shade darker, and I find that 12 gives me a bit of warmth, but 10 is pretty close to like my natural skin tone or the color of my neck. But yeah, here we go. And I'm just buffing that into the skin with my favorite foundation brush. This one here is from It Cosmetics. So it's actually like a cute little love heart shape. They created this for Valentine's Day, I believe. But oh my gosh, if you haven't used their foundation brushes before, you're missing out, man. Oh my gosh, they're the best. And I always like to blend my foundation into my hairline as well, especially when I'm wearing a wig, just because I feel like that gives you the most natural sort of part too, especially because my wig is such a light color. It's going to cover up a bit of my brown roots, so it will blend a lot nicer. And I'm not gluing my wig down or anything today, just because I'm just sort of doing a casual look. I'm not going to be going out or anything after, so it doesn't matter too much. And here I'm just going in with a wet beauty blender, so you always want to wet it before you use it, otherwise it's going to absorb all of the foundation, just sort of suck it up because it is a sponge. But this is just going to get rid of any of the brush strokes and make sure everything is coated evenly and really just blend it out. Okay, so here I've got my Huda Beauty Pack and Buff brush. So one tip that Sarah Tano shared with us, she doesn't put powder all over her entire face. So she uses a very small eyeshadow brush just in the areas where she needs it. So if you think you're putting on a matte foundation, a matte powder, everything, even like a matte blush, a powder, and if you're using like a powder blush, a powder bronzer, the face is going to start looking really dry. So that's why she doesn't powder all over. She just normally sets her under eye concealers to keep it from creasing, and then I'm going to put a little bit like on my smile lines. You can even add a touch above your lip or chin. I mean, no one likes a sweaty lip, so and I'm just setting my forehead as well. But I noticed throughout the video I should have used a tiny bit more powder because the foundation on my forehead did move around a little bit. So if you see me grab a Rogue Beauty Blender and just sort of tap my forehead, that's what's going on there. And now I've just got my Sedona Lace brush. Any fluffy powder brush will do. I don't have any product on this brush, but I'm just using it to dust away any of the excess powder that I applied before. And because I didn't set the entire face, I'm gonna go in with my Ride or Die Kvd Setting Spray. So this is really going to lock everything in and keep this makeup on my face, hopefully. So here I've got one of my all-time favorite products from Kvd. This is actually their cream contour palette, and I've completely customized mine. So you'll see I've got this gray and white shade, so it's kind of like spooky gothic highlight and contour colors, but they sell all of the individual pans on their website, so you can really pop out all of the pans. I think you can even buy an empty palette and fill in the colors as you want. But it's pretty cool because I feel like way too many brands have these contour palettes that have heaps of colors that I never use. They're either too dark for me or just not my vibes. So the gray color I'm using, this one is called Grayscale, and I'm going to be mixing it with this warmer sort of brown tone Woodland, but it's still quite fair. It's not going to look too orange. It's still quite cool toned. And I'm doing the Woodland a little bit more heavy-handed, and I'm using it more in the center of the face just to add like a bit of warmth. And I've got the Grayscale more sort of a little bit lower just to create some dimension. And I'm going along the sides of my nose. And I just sort of keep going over it until I'm happy with the coverage and color. Just sort of bouncing my beauty blender into the skin. Being careful not to be too aggressive, otherwise I'll move the foundation all over the place, but just being really gentle. I've always liked a really strong nose contour. Not everyone contours their nose as much as me, but you'll see I blend it out afterwards. Generally on the day-to-day, I don't even wear bronzer or contour on my cheeks. It's really just on my nose, but I realized today I'm not Allie, so I'm going to be Countess. So I've got a photo of her for reference, and I'm really trying to sculpt my face like her. So her cheekbones are quite a lot higher than mine, which is why I've sort of drawn mine so high, almost like you get that really sharp and chiseled line. So we're just creating that illusion. And now I've gone in with my Marc Jacobs Accomplice powder. This one accidentally got a shade too dark, but it works absolutely beautiful as a contour and bronzer. So in Sarah Tano's webinar, she actually shared a tip and secret with us. I've been using this brush the wrong way the whole time. So she actually flips it onto the side like this and really uses that brush to work that product into the cheek area. So then you get like a really soft and blended whisper of color. I was actually using it turned on the thinner side, so I would get that really harsh line and it didn't look as blended. Some people like that look. I definitely do. I like a really sharp contour, but for Sarah, it's all about getting that really like natural sort of skin-like finish. And she says the best sort of compliment that she can ever get is when someone approaches her and they're like, "Oh my god, I love your skin," rather than saying, "Oh my god, I love your makeup," because they can't even clock that she's wearing makeup. It looks so natural. It literally looks like her face. And that is her sort of own personal style. Sort of. But honestly, I think that's what makeup is all about too, enhancing those natural features that you already have. But there are so many other sides of makeup as well. You can do really creative looks with it for sure. And I feel like at the same time, I always tell my clients too every day, I'm always like, hey, there's no wrong way to do makeup. This is how I do it. And for your face type, like this is how I would do your makeup, and I tell them my ideas, but at the same time I say it's just makeup. You wash it off at the end of the day. There's no rules. You can wear it however you like and whatever makes you feel beautiful and comfortable in your own skin. And I think that's a really sort of beautiful message to live by. Because it's the truth though. There's no wrong way of doing makeup. It's all about personal preference. There's so many different products out there in the world that really suit all skin tones, all skin types, all ages. It's absolutely incredible, and everybody does their makeup a different way. And I know clients will often come to me and they're like, oh, but you're the specialist, you're the expert. I'm like, yeah, and I'm sharing you my tips and tricks and what I think. But at the end of the day, my opinion doesn't matter all that much. It's how you feel when you're wearing the makeup. And if you don't feel comfortable going out in public looking like that, like, I failed you, you know what I mean? But yeah, next we're going in with our Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. So this is in the shade Celestial. And I've done about maybe 2-3 drops just on the highest point of my cheekbone. I've actually been using these recently in my normal sort of makeup routine. I like to use them underneath my foundation to act as a primer. And you might think that it's going to make your face look shiny like a disco ball, but it's not at all. I normally use a super matte foundation when I go over it, and you can't even see the shine come through. But this stuff stays put. It really makes your makeup last all day. And because we're not setting the entire face with powder, that's what I want, a product that I know is going to stay on there for sure. Okay, so back again with our Accomplice powder in shade Starlit. So I'm taking my Huda Beauty Spark and Shine brush. I'm taking the brush side and I'm just mapping out a line on the outside of my eye, almost to create like a wing shape with it. And today I wanted to try something different because in American Horror Story, Gaga always looks like she's glowing, probably from sucking the life out of all of her victims. She's got that afterlife sort of aura about her. But to pay a tribute to her makeup in that sense, I'm using all shimmery shades on the eyes today, nothing matte whatsoever. I really want to focus on that glow, especially when we've got nice glowy skin as well. And you'll see that I'm drawing on a second crease. So I've got hooded eyelids and you can see where my eye crease is. I've put that powder so much higher. And you'll see what we do later on when we carve out the crease to really create that illusion that we've got really high and lifted arch. It's all about contouring and really sculpting the face. Just to really mimic that style that the Countess has. So now I'm going back in with my concealer, and I've got like a little brow spoolie. So I've got heaps of these little spoolies for doing mascara on my makeup clients. And this is just a disposable one, but I'm actually mapping out my bleached brows that I'm going to do. So this is going to create like a highlight. So I'm just brushing the spoolie straight up to create the illusion that they're blonde hairs. And then as I get out further to the edge of my brow, I just start brushing them more straight across and horizontal. And then at the very tail of my brow, like the very end, I'll start brushing the hairs down. If you look in a mirror, or if you don't have eyebrows like me, if you look at a photograph of an eyebrow, you will see how the hairs naturally grow. So I'm just creating the illusion of how I want the hairs to grow in the direction that I want them. And so here I've got my Shade and Light eye contour palette. So this is by Kvd as well. And I'm going to be taking the shade in the middle here, Dusk, to actually create a shadow effect. So it's like a nice sort of taupey grayish. And I'm going to fill in next to every hair that I've drawn with that concealer. I'm going to do a shadow just behind it with this sort of gray tone. It's called Dusk. And then next I've got this warmer sort of apricot color. This one here is called Dune. I guess very sandy, like a sand dune. So this I'm going to use as the base color for the brows, because it's sort of like a nice, almost like blonde shade. And because it has a bit of shimmer to it, when the light hits it, it has like almost like an illuminating effect, so it actually gives the effect of hair. Like when the light hits an actual hair, it's pretty cool. And I'm taking the same brush that I used to set my under eye concealer and smile lines, and I've just gone in with a little bit of setting powder again, just above the brows. So not on the brows, just above the brows for the moment. And that's going to mattify the brow bone, but because we use this shimmer on the brows, it's gonna pop even more, especially when the light hits it and in flash photography and stuff. You can see here, I probably need to powder my forehead. It's settling a bit in the creases. So here I've got the shade Sterling, and this is a beautiful shimmer shade. It's almost like a nice sort of vanilla. And I'm just highlighting under my brow bone. And now I'm going to take a touch of that same shade Sterling and just pop it on the inner corners, just to really open up the eyes. And believe it or not, I'm not going to be extending the inner corner of my liner today, so I really want to open up the eyes as much as possible. So here I'm going in with the same Dune shade that I used on my brows, and I've got quite a fluffy brush. I'm actually blending it all the way down my nose contour. And I'm just starting at the front of the brows, just because I do have wide set eyes, so I just want to bring my eyes in a little bit closer so the face looks more balanced. And if you have a look, Countess's character, she does have a very strong brow as well. Whether her actual eyebrow hairs are like bleached or if she's rocking like a darker sort of like taupe shade, because in the series her brows do change. And I found that I really like that color, so I'm putting a little bit on my eyes as well. I'm just going over the top of where I placed the previous color down. Just to sort of marry those colors together more. It has a really nice sort of a luminescence and sheen to it as well. I love this palette. It's such an underrated palette. I feel like everyone reaches for like an Urban Decay Naked palette when they want to go all nudes, but I really love this KVD one. She does a matte version as well, but I'm all about the shimmer. I love using these to sort of top even colorful eyeshadow looks that I'm wearing. I use these just for the shimmer sometimes, and I'll go right over the top of whatever color shadow I've got on too. So here I'm just packing this beautiful sort of almost like a rose gold shade. It's actually called Quartz. So I'm taking this on the inner third of my eye, just packing on the color, and I'm sort of creating a cut crease with it, but not like an extreme version. And again, that's going to help accentuate that high sort of arch that we've created as well. So we're gonna make the crease of my eye appear to be a bit higher. So we're all about exaggerating proportion here. So I'm popping on a little bit more of the lip oil because I did wipe it off a little bit when I was doing my foundation. So just do a fresh layer. Oh my gosh, I love this stuff. It's so nice and glossy. Where to go next? Okay, so I've got an idea. So this is my KVD Super Brow in the color taupe, and I've got the coolest brush ever. So this is actually a brow powder brush, excuse me. So you'll see the sort of brush hairs and how it is on the longest tip. It has like a very thin sort of spacing, so that's going to give you like a hair-like stroke. So that's what I'm doing here. You'll see I press it into my skin for a moment, and I haven't sped this up at all because I want you to see it in real time. I press it into the skin, I hold it there for just a second, and then I flick my brush upwards. And I always like to keep the longest part of the brush that has that really thin sort of hair stroke on it. I keep the longest part of the angled brush facing in towards my nose. So the shortest part is on the outside of my eye, the longest part is towards the inside, pointing in, if that makes sense. Okay. And so I flip my brush around and I'm drawing individual hairs. So what I've done, I've loaded up product on both sides of the brush. I've tried to really squish it together so that brush is super, super fine. It's really, the bristles are all stuck together with the pomade. And I'm just going in over top actually of where we added in those shady sort of spots before, the shadows, and I'm just accentuating that even further. Gosh, I really love how these have turned out. Okay, we're speeding up a bit now. It does take a bit of time, but I just wanted to really focus on this bleach brow look and get them to look as realistic as possible. You can add as much detail as you want, or if you're in a rush, honestly, you probably could have left it as it was as well, because I feel like it was still very effective, but I'm just going the extra mile just because, I guess. Okay, now I know I said before I wasn't going to set the brows, but I found that the top pomade was a little bit dark, so I wanted to lighten it, so I'm doing that with the setting powder. That's the beauty of makeup though. I feel like sometimes I'll start off with a vision and then halfway through change my mind. I had a client once come into work. I'll never forget her actually. Oh, I don't know why I'm talking about this, oh my god. But she actually, I was putting on some false lashes for her. She just wanted a lash application. And, oh my god, I can't talk about this. Okay, sure, it'll be fine. Here we go. So she told me she actually had, I swear to you, she's like supermodel beautiful as well. Not saying that like everyone's not beautiful, but like she was drop dead gorgeous. Like I thought she was like an Instagram model or like literally someone famous. She looked stunning, I'm not kidding you. And she's very like wholesome, and I don't know, I guess it just goes to show don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know, you know? And I think my first impression of her was that I felt a little bit intimidated because she's very beautiful. I'm like, oh my gosh, perfect hair, perfect body, perfect makeup, you look great. But she sat down in front of the mirror and I'm getting ready to put her lashes on for her, and she kind of has a moment with me. She's like, can I tell you something? I'm like, yeah, of course. I had no idea what she was going to tell me. I thought it was going to be like something like a bit like melancholy or like lighthearted, but she was like, I'm a bit shocked, I'm a bit upset. A little while ago when I was parking my car, I ran into my ex-boyfriend, and I was so shocked. I haven't seen him in a few months. He just grabbed me by the arm and was really aggressive, and the conflict was like that. And she's like, I just like sort of pulled away from him, and I ran, and she's like, this is the first place I came because I just wanted to get some like of my makeup. I think she's getting foundation and some things as well. She actually had a lunch date in a couple hours, so she was really excited for that, but at the moment she was a little bit like traumatized from the experience, and I was like, oh my god, seriously, that's out of this world. I was just trying to be really comforting to her, and I offered her, I was like, if she felt uncomfortable, I was like, by all means we can send our security guard to walk you back to your car, anything that you feel comfortable with. And she's like, oh no, that should be okay. She's like, I just wanted to vent. But what she said to me, like, I can't even believe it, because I think we were talking and I got a bit like shaky and like you know, like anxious, feeling weird, and I was using a black eyelash glue and I smudged it a little bit, and I told her, I was like, oh no, I was like, I showed her in the mirror, I was like, I made a little bit of a mistake, but we can work with it. And she's like, oh my god, honey, don't even worry. She's like, you know what, she's like, you know what defines a makeup artist from just a person who does makeup? I was like, no, what? Tell me. And she's like, a makeup artist is adaptable in all situations. They might start off doing one thing, but then something like freak accident or something will happen, and they will just sort of adapt to that situation and create something beautiful out of it. And she was like, how about we pop on some liner? I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love that. And I asked her if she would like to wear wing liner or what she likes. She's like, yeah, definitely. So we ended up creating this really beautiful sort of glam eye look, and I popped on a bit of eyeshadow and stuff for her, and she was literally so excited, so thankful. She's like, oh my god, thank you for this. I was feeling so bad and heavy in my heart when I came in here, but she's like, now I feel like $1,000,000. I can't wait to go on my date. And I don't even know what made me think of that just now. Hope you enjoyed my story. But I feel like what the moral of what I was trying to say there, I will never forget her telling me that. And it's just something that stuck with me forever. And it was maybe a year and a half ago since I met this beautiful client of mine. Yeah. You've actually got to see Sarah Tano's tutorial with the eyeliner. So about a year ago, she did a makeup look on Nikki Tutorials as a model. I am not kidding you. And she just used the eyeliners in like the most beautiful sort of purple plummy shade, and it turned out so incredible. I'm gonna link the video in the description box below so you can check it out. It's absolutely insane. Another incredible video, Nikki Tutorials actually does Lady Gaga's makeup, believe it or not. It's so cool. Out of this world for sure. And while we're on the topic of videos, there's actually another video that I want to share with you guys. It's actually posted on Harper's Bazaar. So it's Sarah Tano sort of showing what they call her beauty stash. We go into her house and she shows us her entire collection. So here I've got my OG Ride or Die mascara. This is the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir. And I'm actually using my Wet n Wild foundation brush. So this was a tip that Sarah shared with us. If you lift the lid and really work your mascara into the root of the lashes, so this is going to give you an incredible lift. And Marc Jacobs, I hope I can say this, if it's not official now, it definitely will be by the time I upload this video, but Marc Jacobs' new LASH'D mascara is going to launch in stores coming soon. By the time I post this, it should be official. I haven't got my hands on it yet, but the difference between this mascara and the Velvet Noir that I'm using at the moment, So the new LASH'D wand is a lot skinnier, and it gives you more of that like lift and separation, more of that lengthening and lash extension effect. So it will definitely lengthen the lashes. With the Velvet Noir brush, so this one that I'm using today, it's a little bit thicker. It sort of comes in an hourglass shape in the middle. So this gives you more sort of like fluffy volume. But for anyone who feels like your lashes can go clumpy real quick, I would suggest trying the @Lash, because apparently it's meant to be more separating and lengthening. So I'm really excited to give it a try. When I finally get my hands on it, I'll definitely let you guys know how it goes for sure. And I feel like this technique in lifting the lashes would even be really great for anyone who has hooded eyes like me, but also even monolid eye types. So I do have some Asian clients which have monolids, and they often have lashes which are quite straight as well, but this will definitely help open their eyes and create that false sort of lash extension effect. And using the @Lash, which has a smaller brush, is really going to suit their eye shape more as well. So definitely recommend trying. So here I've got my little Sigma pencil brush, and I'm doing just that. I'm blending out that liner now. Okay, so here we're going back into the Shade and Light Eye Contour palette, and I've got the shade Bronze. So this one is a little bit darker than the first color we used, a little bit sort of like a deeper sort of brown as well. And I'm putting this on the top half of the black liner. And at the moment I'm just sort of placing it, but later on we're going to really start blending it into that sort of gold shadow that we've already got, which was the quartz. So we'll blend it into the quartz. And I go back and forth, like I'll pop a bit of the quartz on, pop a bit of the bronze on, and really just layer them on top of each other again and again, just sort of until I'm happy with how it's blended in. And you'll see now I'm going to add my white eyeliner. This is the Cake Pencil. You'll see later on that I actually forgot a color that I had in the Kvd lip liners, so all their lipsticks and lip liners are safe to use on the eyes as well. But the perfect color would have been Kvd that I have. Swanley is a beautiful color as well, but I felt like when I put the white on it looked a little bit harsh and cartoony. So you'll see later on I actually go over the white with like a sort of vanilla color. But this is really gonna open up the eyes and create that illusion. The reason I hate using eyeshadows on my waterline is because I've got, so here I've got Porcelain again from the Shade and Light Eye palette, and I'm just setting that eyeliner, hoping that it's a more natural sort of vanilla shade. I find out that it didn't really work that well, so then I went in actually with the same color that I used on my eyes and my brows. So this is the Dune, and I used that over the top instead. You'll notice my eyes, if I'm blinking a lot, my eyes are getting pretty dry, because that's one reason which I really hate using shadows in my eyes, because they stick to my contact lenses. And it's just such an annoying feeling. I can see the little particles of shadow float up and around my eye, and nothing I can do can get it off unless I take out my contact lenses and just start fresh. That's why I love using the Kvd cake liners though. I wish you would launch a lot more colors. So I'm actually using my little Kvd brow powder brush again, and I've gone back in with my Accomplice concealer. And what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to fill in some little extra highlights, because you know, what we done before just wasn't enough apparently. I'm really going for that breached, oh my god, breach the contract. I'm really going for that bleached brow look today, if you can't tell. I keep coming back to the brows. It's good though, because I feel like it gives me a sort of break from them, because if I focus too much on getting all the individual hairs straight away, I'll just go mad. My eyes are going to go cross. I don't have the best eyesight anyways, so it would just really do my head in, okay? That's why I'm taking it step at a time. I think this is the third time now I've come back to the brows. But I promise, we're almost done. Oh, it looks so good. Like, if I had the energy to do these brows every day, let me tell you. Okay, so now I've got my Velvet Noir and I'm just doing my bottom lashes. And this is actually a technique you'll see here that Sarah's doing as well. So I flipped the brush around. She was showing us with the new At mascara. But if you flip the brush so it's sort of facing vertically, and you actually drag it downwards if you're doing lower lashes, or drag it upwards if you're doing your top lashes, and it will actually pull your lashes out and create it'll attach like a little fiber almost, and actually extend and lengthen the lash. It's absolutely an amazing technique. I don't know why I've never thought to use my brush on the side like this before. So clever. Okay guys, so now I'm just going to add the finishing touches. I was thinking, hey, what can I do to really amp this look up? So I've grabbed my Marc Jacobs Lip Oil again, and I'm putting it just where I cut the crease. Wow, that's amazing. Not getting too low or too close to my lash line, because it is like a pepperminty sort of scent to it, and I know that's going to sting the crap out of my eyes. So yeah, I'm just popping a bit in my lid so it's not going to be too sticky or all over, but just when the light hits it, you really get that reflection, and bam! So here I've got my Kvd Vegan Beauty Alchemist palette, so I'm using the color Pink Opal. I felt like because I didn't use any blush at all in this look, I felt like that would give me that little bit of like pink to the cheeks and look nice. And I did a touch on my inner corners as well. And a little down my nose. Honestly, this is one of my fave go-to holographic highlighter sets for sure. I've got one from Jeffree Star that I've tried, so his Ice Cold Chemistry palette. I think it comes with 6 shades. For some reason, for my skin type anyways, I just don't find the highlight as blinding or as pigmented. The pan size is a lot bigger, but honestly I haven't hit pan on any of these KVD shades and I use them all the time. But yeah, just doing a touch on my inner corner now, just to sort of marry the makeup that I've got on my face together with my eyes. So you see how it's just the slightest sheen of pink. It's nothing over the top. So pretty. Oh my gosh, I love how sort of like blingy my eyes look every time I turn my head with that gloss on the lid. Absolutely stunning. So here I've got a bit ambitious. I'm doing a touch of the Marc Jacobs Lip Oil on my brow bone, and then you'll see as well that I move on to do a bit on top of that highlighter that I put on my cheeks too. So my face is glossy, my lids are glossy, my brows are glossy. We're just having a gloss moment. And I'm just tapping it onto the tops of my cheekbones just because I want to be careful not to move too much product around. And we're locking that all in with our Kvd Setting Spray. So now I'm just going to add the finishing touches with the Countess. She has a cute little beauty spot. So I've got my KVD liquid liner in Trooper Black. So I'm just wiping any excess foundation or product from my lips, just so I've got a fresh base. And I'm gonna line my lips with my Bite Beauty lip pencil. So this one here is shade number 2. And here we come to the product that inspired this entire look, really. I did my nails in the beautiful leopard print packaging to match. So this shade is called Diva from Marc Jacobs. And I love that it's like the most perfect 90s moment sort of metallic baby pink. And I feel like because I've got such a fair sort of pale vampy foundation color on today, this really pale lipstick is going to work as well, and it's not going to wash me out. It looks so chic and cool. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, and I just wanted to talk about one more thing. So how Marc Jacobs was actually introduced to Sarah and Lady Gaga. I believe she says she's been working with Marc for about 3 years. So in her webinar, she was telling us all. So she actually connected with Marc because he was a fan of the show American Horror Story. So he absolutely loved Countess's character and her makeup, which I thought was super cool and actually is what inspired me to create this look for you guys today. See you next time. Seriously, way to break character. If I haven't freaked you out too much, that is. Bye.